but we have so much more to talk about. What do we have next on our show for us this evening, Connor?
Next up here as we head into the second quarter of Friends Stream Sports, thank you so many people for watching, so many people for following, so many people for drinking Daddle's coffee. We are... Lamar Jackson almost broke that to the end zone there. We're going to be talking about, in our NFL segment, a team that, Rutledge, you and I haven't talked about much, but now is finally warranting some commentary, and that's the Dallas Cowboys.
But is it, though?
What do you think about the Cowboys, Rutledge?
I have a mixed bag on the Cowboys. 5-1 is incredible that they're leading it. No one in their division has a winning record, which we're not surprised. But I don't know, even as we discussed about this, it's time to give a legitimate talk about the Cowboys. I mean, they are, when you win 5 NFL games, that is nothing to slouch over. In a row, right? And they have definitely, including beating the Patriots, which the Patriots are not the Patriots of old, but still, that's 5 games in a row.
Against NFL players.
Yeah, beating Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Carolina, New York, and then New England in a row. Are they a legitimate playoff team? I will openly say they are a legitimate playoff team. Do I think they're going to get past the first round of the playoffs? I will openly say I do not know. Because in this show, whenever I trash on someone way too soon, they all of a sudden have me eating my hat as I watch it happen in front of me at the Super Bowl. The Cowboys, I think, are just kind of sitting to where things are working for them finally, when it was taking them a while, just like that touchdown pass worked. Things are working for them finally. They take a while to get going, but their schedule is in their favor. Their next 4 games, they have Minnesota, Denver, Atlanta, and then week 11 they'll play Kansas City, but Kansas City isn't big, bad, scary like they used to be. So I think scheduling's in their favor, roster's in their favor. If Jerry Jones wins the Super Bowl this year, that'll be in his favor finally, but I don't know if Super Bowl is their ceiling. But I don't know if just playoffs is their ceiling. But I'm not against them.
Yeah, I think that as it relates to, number one, the division. Rutledge, let me ask you this. I mean, who could beat them in their division?
There's no one that can beat them in their division. Philadelphia's coaching staff doesn't know what it's doing with the team that it has. They don't know how to run an offense to make that team sort of work. Washington football team is not the fun lightning in the bottle we thought we caught last year. And, the New York Giants are still the New York Giants. They drafted a horrible quarterback who they're trying to work through. And why did we just why did we just run off sides? The New York Giants are still very much in a mess. I think we're not going to see the New York Giants resurface for a while, so, they've got it going for them clear.
Yeah, no, I think as it relates to their division, they are definitely, and by the way, that penalty was against me, not against you.
I was really worried it was against me.
Well, it wasn't, so good for you.
Good for me.
Good for you. And I'm going to get there, complete a pass, but not get in the end zone. I just didn't want to kick because, well, we know what happens when we kick. We cannot kick. But, yeah, I think as it relates to their division, the Dallas Cowboys are definitely in charge of their division. I think as it relates to, the NFC, I see the Bucs as a potential roadblock for the Cowboys. Outside of that, I don't know who else is a big roadblock. Do you see any other big roadblocks for them, Rutledge?
I think it remains to be seen how good Arizona is. Because the Arizona Cardinals, for the first time since, was it 1974? 76? They are 6-0, and they have the best record in the NFC. So, that could maybe be a roadblock if that team gets better. They have the same record as Green Bay and Los Angeles, but I think this year it just seems like NFL success is some teams it's due to roster, and then other teams it's due to scheduling with maybe a little flicker of roster. What was that throw?
Yeah, you know, this roster, oddly enough, we talk about Ezekiel Elliott so much and the running game of the Cowboys, but I do want to read for you a few stats from the quantitative element of the Dallas Cowboys. Number one, they lead the NFL in yards per play at over 7 yards per play, from the line of scrimmage. What does that mean, Rutledge? That means that more often than not, their 1st and 10 becomes 2nd and 3. That means that they are staying on schedule. Even during a running play where they are handing it off to Ezekiel Elliott, they are staying on schedule, being able to have those really good situations where they don't have to totally rely on the passing game, and teams can't kind of say, oh, we're 3rd and long, therefore we're going to be we know it's going to be a pass. So I think that's a big thing to think about. I think as it relates to just in general, points for, they are 1st in the NFL. They're scoring 34.2 points per game, so they're number 1. And points against, so the amount of points that they're giving up, so their defense is allowing 24.2. So they're kind of middle of the pack there, 14 in points against, but their points for obviously is leading them to have a really nice point differential, which I think is definitely a nice thing to have going into this element and this portion of the season.
Yeah, we love a good stats machine here on Front Stream Sports.
Oh yeah.
The big one that stands out for me, of course, is points for, because you just have to score in order to, make it happen. I mean, Dak Prescott has put up the 5th or 6th most yards in the NFL in passing this year. So they're not playing horrible. Connor, the one thing we haven't talked about, which you and I love to talk about on this show, is this is Mike McCarthy's 2nd year with Dallas. Do we feel that this is really just is this more results? That was a good pick. Spins right into Lamar Jackson. Do we feel like this is maybe more of a result of just coaching has finally figured it out? Because last year it looked like they had nothing going for them, and this year it looks like they've really sort of made it kind of click to where the roster and the staff and everyone's on the same page there in Texas. So what's your thoughts in the results of how coaching is maybe having an impact this year?
I think that it always helps to be another year in a system. So more continuity never hurts anything. But I could definitely see, Dak's healthy. What are we seeing with Bill Belichick? He is losing games with Tom Brady. Big Ben is hurt, and Mike Tomlin all of a sudden is losing games. So I think that we are seeing I think that it's more that Dak is back and healthy. I think it's more that wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, who had that huge catch against the Patriots, has his 2nd year in the NFL. And I think that we can very much be cognizant of that within within those stats.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to be seen. I think when you say 2nd year in system, I think coming out of a COVID year, that's got to be, we never sort of gave that credit, but a lot changed for people in COVID. That is that's a tough year to go out there and really sort of implement a new system with a new coaching staff to where you aren't getting to know each other in the traditional sense, where you're still worried about social distancing and masks and how are we taking care of each other. And even though, they're professionals, changing at work for all of us changed it, just like changing this kicking game is never going to change. So I think it's just benefit of being more of in a better year. Shout out to the total yards. Do you know who's the quarterback underneath Dak Prescott with total passing yards in the NFL right now?
Probably Josh Allen, seeing as you're
No.
showing that quote, that stat while being with the Bills.
Oh no, it is not Josh Allen. You're gonna be more proud of who it is.
Let me guess, Baker Mayfield.
No.
You got to tell me then.
It's our BFF Justin Herbert.
Oh, how could I forget J. Herb?
Herb.
He kind of got smoked last week.
He really did. I hurt for him.
But, you're not. Sometimes being a second-year quarterback, you just got to remember that you are indeed a second-year quarterback.
And this Buffalo defense is reminding Lamar Jackson of what year quarterback he is with these hits.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson is not playing too well, but, Dallas has a good chance to play pretty well here over this next stretch, Rutledge. So, seeing as I have 30 seconds to get this playoff and a minute 19 on the clock, I'm going to read to you the next four for the Dallas Cowboys. They're at Minnesota, versus Denver, versus Atlanta, and at Kansas City. So you tell me, what do you think the Dallas Cowboy record is going to be?
2-2 with a surprisingly shocking loss to Atlanta.
Wow, you really are. You really have moved to Georgia.
There's something that the Cowboys have known to just sort of drop those kind of gimme games in the past, and to see them drop something like that to Atlanta. Not saying that Atlanta has all the depth in the world to support it, but I think it would be a huge thing. I think it would be how do I put it? It would not be an unpredictable thing to see happen. And, any given Sunday was made because any given Sunday, someone can win a football game in the NFL. Do I think that really ruins Dallas's overall chances? No, I think it'll be they're going to get ahead of themselves and they'll drop an easy one. The other loss I have is Kansas City, but I think that Dallas-Kansas City loss when we get there will be a really big deal to watch, and a loss 2 in Atlanta will actually just make it more interesting.
So you're calling a 2-2 record over these next 4 games, which I think is pretty. So you really don't think Dallas is for real, then, do you?
I think I could see them going 3-1, but they will drop one.
Yeah, so I believe that they will drop at least one throughout this next little stretch here. But I'm seeing 3-1. I think that Dak is really good. I think Dak is making a lot of really nice plays. And let's see if I can get a PAT. Nailed it. Got it. Great. All right.
Got it.
So I think Dallas is better than Minnesota, even though Kirk Cousins is playing really well. Love me some Kirk Cousins, but he does seem to fold in bigger games. I think that he's going to fold against Dak in a pretty big game for the Minnesota Vikings, sort of a do-or-die kind of game. I think Dallas is definitely better than Denver. I think Dallas is definitely better than Atlanta and is going to come in and play really well against Atlanta. And then, I could see Kansas City beating Dallas just due to, to your point, Dallas can drop these kind of big games, but I think that the only big game Dallas is going to drop is going to be to Kansas City. So I see a 3-1 type of performance from Dallas over this next stretch to really solidify themselves as a top NFC team.
I mean, it's wild times, man.
Wild times. So, Rutledge, what would you do if someone said, I need you? Oh, my God. You've got to be kidding me.
I would totally just score a touchdown right now. Did you see that?
Wow, what a tutty.
Absolutely go off. Back off of everybody. 19-7. We're going to watch this again. Look at this thing go. Josh Allen, the monster.
What a tutty.
Oh, that was, man. We don't have enough viewers online to watch that. That was beautiful.
Good thing we've learned that Lamar Jackson can come back. Or at least good thing that I've learned that. So
Good thing I've...
Oh,
blocked the kick.
Block. Oh, take it back. Oh.
We have a wild Hail Mary tutty, and then we have a blocked kick to end that. What a first half.
Great NFL talk. Great
Man,
playoff
Connor.
talk.
You know, wow.